How's it going, everybody? Hope your day is absolutely spectacular. I know it's been a hot minute. I was gone. I apologize. I was sick. But we are back to business as usual today. I did have some brief moments of revelation that I'd love to talk about today. But today's video topic is a little different. I feel like I have to fall into the cliche that my friends do whenever they make these kinds of channels, and just in general people do, where you will inevitably miss a week and then you follow it up by making a video where you're like, well, I have to talk about being accountable. I have to, I'll do better next time. And they like seriously overthink, like how to address, you know, their error on their part. And so I'm gonna just briefly say, I was fucking sick. I was overworked with classes, and I had just been robbed by a group of Chinese ants who took my computer away. So I was not in a great place to record anyway. And I think that, I was trying to set up my microphone, so that's why the last video got like negative views, which is completely valid. I don't really care about that. I'm happy that I'm back. I hope you guys are happy that I'm back, because I'm here to stay. What I do want to talk today specifically is the concept of stealing like an artist. I think that this is something that's very, very over discussed when it comes to content. But the premise is that like for the like one person who doesn't know what this is, the gist is, okay, if you're going to do something creative, it's okay to, in a sense, copy, but like be inspired by people. But at the same time, you have to be able to steal without it being obvious. It's the equivalent of how people like when they share homework, like, oh, just don't make it obvious, right? It's kind of like that, in a sense. And so I want to discuss that today because I've always been a strong believer when it comes to content creation, to subscribe to the idea of stealing like an artist, but also at the same time, adding a unique spin. You don't steal from one person. That's why it really upsets me when I see channels that are just so blatantly like supposed to be clones of something else, including the people who are inspired by Nico. Yes, and I'll talk about that in a moment. But also, your classic flavor of channel where it's, oh, I'm just another clone of Scott the Woz, and that sucks. No one wants to see that. So, yeah. I don't want to be a Nico clone. I think that's really chopped. I think it's really overdone and really boring. And I'm always someone who's been a strong believer of experimentation when it comes to stealing like an artist. As you create and consume content on YouTube, your opinion of what is and isn't a good video will very drastically change. When I was a kid, I used to watch Skeppy, and I'm sure that right now, if I were to go back and watch some of those Skeppy videos, I'd find them funny. I'd find them entertaining. But at the same time, I'd also kind of be like, oh, this sucks. Like, I thought this was peak back in the day, but this blows. What was younger me thinking? And I think that that's a completely fine position to be in. It's just a matter of, okay, now that you've realized that, what are you gonna do about it? So I recently started watching a few channels, completely unrelated to this style, not at all like Weekly Slap-esque, because that is the prime inspiration, right? I think the only real thing I take out of Nico's page is just the thumbnail style, and I am probably going to skew away from that because the one thing I do really love about making videos is thumbnails. I love booting up Photoshop and making the most abhorrent, unintelligible creation ever, and then just like shipping it into a video. And it's so fucking funny because you can pack in like 5 million inside jokes into a YouTube thumbnail and it still be like a well-performing piece of content, and that's just lovely. You love to see it. But no, I wanted to stray away from it because I think that it's just like, first of all, I never explicitly want to admit it, like, oh, I am a Nico clone, because I'm not. But at the same time, also just that flavor of content is not exactly what I'm striving for. And none of the things that I've posted here are in some sense can be like emotional. I've talked about like keeping yourself accountable, being productive, stuff like that. And that's all great, you know. Those are definitely things that some people need to hear, and that's fine. But on the other hand, I also kind of think to myself, you know, hey, if and this is very directed at if this applies to you, you are being this is very personal. If you are taking like genuine advice from some literal who on the internet who like is playing Minecraft and telling you like, dude, you need to lock the fuck in. You need to do this and this. You can turn your life around. Like, you know, I hope you take care of yourself. You know, I really do hope that whatever you're going through is okay because that's not that's not what I want my audience to be. I definitely do want a community of positivity, if any community at all, because let's be real, that's probably not happening either. But this is more so a personal project. I want to kind of journal my thoughts, my experiences, and I can look back and be like, "Oh, remember when this was happening? Remember when that Chinese guy like stole my computer and I was so mad? Yeah, it was pretty funny. Let's look back at that video." You know, I wanna keep like a immortalization of my life in that manner. So this is very much more about me than it is about you guys. I'm sorry to say that, you know. I know that not everybody will be happy to hear. I'm kidding. Who fucking cares? Genuinely, if you're upset about that, go fuck yourself. And that brings me to my second point. I've been watching YouTubers recently. A specific YouTuber. I haven't seen this YouTuber going around lately by the name of Bearman3600. And I wanted to talk about this person because I think that genuinely they are a absolutely wonderful inspiration for anybody who is making content along the lines of talking about something like I don't like a video essay because the term video essay has a lot of like subtext to it, you know, and it's just like it has a connotation that I just do not like because when I think video essay, I think, oh, holy shit, okay, cool. Did not expect that guy over here today. Let's get that real quick. Hey man, you gonna? No? Okay. Do I have a bed here? Should be good. When I think video essay, I just think of like a white guy yapping about the Nintendo game for like multiple, you know, at least half an hour. Very boring editing, very poor script. Probably researched off of like Reddit, and you know that's definitely not. You know, that's like a stereotype. That's definitely not an accurate representation because, to be entirely fair, I would say I make video essay content, but the type I do is very different from that. I've discussed before how I want to do like a reverse beastified content where it's like emotionally impactful, and that's kind of what I'm doing now. That video's it's getting there. But at the same time, I also think that video essays should be like relatively entertaining. You know, it doesn't have to be some deep esoteric thing that nobody's ever heard of. Like, oh, here's this ARG that was made by some like Filipino fella that nobody has ever heard of, and here's a 55-minute video, part one, going through it. And it's like, okay, you know, cool. It's very happy for you that you're passionate about that, but like, could not care less, genuinely. Oh fuck. Okay, that's gonna be great. Yeah, so it's like I don't like to advertise. I don't advertise myself at all in any sense. But I don't like to call myself a video essayist, even though the content I do is scripted and it's talking about games, for the most part. Because that's just not great. But this Bearman fella is then genuinely, I think, one of the most entertaining video essayists, if we want to use that word, I've seen in a very long time, and it's refreshing. It's refreshing. I'm not going to talk too much about him right now because I think that if you are interested, you should have the opportunity to... Where the fuck did the creeper go? Okay. If you're interested, you should have the opportunity to see it for yourself. There's a bunch of videos. He made a recent video about Minecraft AT&T Router Edition, and it's literally just... you know how there's like the... Well, if you're not a YouTuber, you won't know this, but YouTube has this absolutely terrible feature where it gives you AI-generated recommendations for videos, like video ideas, right? Because, as we all know, the hardest part of being a YouTuber is having a single thought original to yourself. And so YouTube gave him the suggestion to make a video talking about the really obscure Minecraft version for the AT&T router. That's not a thing. That's not real. And so the entire premise is this video is just a troll because it's just absolute. It's like it's structured like an actual video essay, but it is the most steaming pile of bullshit ever. And I absolutely love that. This guy will swear. This guy will have the funniest ways to say things, and there's just an absolutely lovely charm to that I adore. I'm gonna keep watching this guy. I love him so much. Which brings me to the point: steal like an artist. I have been doing YouTube for many years, and the one thing that has stayed true across all of it is that my video styles are never the same. I like to I used to have a motto on my bio that says consistently inconsistent. That's gone now. It's been gone for a while, but it is true. No two videos I make will ever be structured the same or have the same levels of inspiration because they're about different things. They're inspired by different people and different things that I've seen, and after all, no one really wants to see the same thing over and over. I'm going to pull an absolutely American example here, because as we know, Americans trying to explain anything will automatically bring up the burger. So I'll say, imagine you have a burger. Imagine you have a burger. That burger's great. But if you go and you eat the same burger a million times, at some point, the burger's not going to be as great as if you try something new. And yeah, if you try the new burger, it's not going to be the best burger in the world every damn time. That's just given. But that being said, sometimes that burger might be better, and sometimes that burger might be worse. And if you get feedback, if you're the guy making the burgers, if you get feedback as you make the burger, this is a lot of burgers. If you get feedback, you will slowly but surely get better. Or, at the very least, you'll become more original. That's the irony of it. To become original, you have to become unoriginal. That's just how it works. You have to be inspired by the way that people edit and script their videos and what they talk about. And then through that, as you apply it, you will change things, you'll combine things, and you will become original. And it's such a bizarre thing to say because it doesn't feel right. You know, people are out here like, I have to have the most original creation ever, which means that it has to be some savant-like masterpiece that I like spent 7 years crafting in my head, and you know, no one's ever done it before. Here's the thing: if you've taken any English class, like college or high school level, probably like AP, you'll know that there's only like 8 different ways to write a story. Now, I don't know if you know this, but there's more than 8 stories. Because it's not about what you write, it's about who's writing it. You have a unique approach to how you tell that same story. If you were to have fucking Tolkien write a book about Star Wars, it would be completely different than how George Lucas did it. Even though it could be the exact same plot, but just the approach alone is unique. So, genuinely, the least concerning thing you should worry about on YouTube is originality, because it's just going to come naturally. And at some point you'll realize, you know, in your head you'll be like, oh, well, this is so clearly inspired by this and this and this. And you'll be like, oh, well, actually, it's kind of nothing like it. Like, my style is completely different now. That's just gonna happen. It's inevitable. And that's kind of cool. Now, that being said, don't let that be an excuse for, oh, well, now I can just copy one person's video one-to-one and I did it my way. It's original. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm trying to say is just like, if I'm actually put the furnaces down here. If you're worried that your content isn't original enough, don't stress. It is completely okay to draw inspiration from other sources, and just slowly, with time, you will develop your own style. And I think that that's a wonderful thing. I don't want to make this one too long. I do have some plans in the future for content I'm going to make. I'm going to try to pump more of these out because I do genuinely enjoy playing this game. And it feels kind of odd that like I will only be playing for like maybe up to half an hour tops if I'm really yapping. I also want to make it clear I do not fucking care about the performance of my videos. Genuinely could not care less. Could not give less of a shit. So like, I'm not going to be riding a train. I decided to do the
Hightail.
video just because I wanted to voice my opinion. Because I felt like there was something worth talking about there. I think I had a little bit of an interesting perspective. But I guess, you know, if it did well or didn't, I'm just gonna say don't expect me to play that game again. I don't care. I'm here to talk about my thoughts and hopefully also be entertaining. I'm not here to dish out deep advice. So if you're here for that, if you're here for a video with like Sam Sulek flexing his muscles and he's saying unfuck your life or fix your sleep schedule or whatever, it's just not going to happen. That's not what it is. This channel is about me alone. And I could not care less about you or what is going on in your life. I hope you're doing great, but this is not a solution. This is not an answer to your problems. And the only reason I'm saying this and being so harsh is because I've had a person tell me like, "Oh, Julal, yeah, that's how you pronounce it, by the way. Oh, you know, this was a great piece of advice. Da, 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 da. You know, I really took it to heart. I was in a really rough place when I watched this video and it helped me. And I genuinely was like, dude, what? Like you're watching YouTube and you're in this terrible state. Like, dude, actually lock the fuck in. Because let's be real, there's people who are going to be seeing those videos. Like, there's so many on Instagram, like the self-help stuff. Nothing is gonna come from it. You're gonna lock in at 3 in the morning, go to bed, and then sleep in. Like nothing will come from it. So let's not kid ourselves. With that being said, I hope that you have a wonderful day. Oh fucking hell, the Minecraft music started playing. I'm done nostalgia baiting. Genuinely, I'm gonna be playing with like an absolutely disgusting texture pack next video. Just you wait. This is gonna be original. I'm stealing like an artist, and you know what? You are more than welcome to do the same.